next principle in component cohesion or component coupling. Sorry, component coupling. In component coupling principle is the stable abstraction principle. In previous video, we have discussed about stable dependency principle. Now this is stable abstraction principle. So in previous talk, we came to the conclusion that the more abstraction you are going to add in your component, the more abstract it will got. Like if a component simply contains a policy like interfaces, then there is no concrete implementation here. So all other component will depend upon this component, and hence the stability of this component, the abstract component, will increase. So this principle says that your stability, your dependency graph should goes toward abstraction, right? You can made your component as abstract as you can to make it more stable. So dependency run in the direction of abstraction. And yeah, so the other thing, so a class can be either abstract or okay, that is the rough point, sorry. So again, there is again the metrics for measuring the abstraction. So what it says that in a component, the number of class, count total number of class, right? And count total, there will be some class which will be abstract class, because in a class either it will be abstract or either it will be implementation, right? So it cannot be both. So the stability of that component will depend on that. So the abstraction metric, what it says the number of abstract class in an modular component. So I will be using this word interchangeably. Abstract class divided by total number of class, number of total class in that component. So again, so if it is close to 1, that means all class are abstract class and your component is going to be more stable. And if it's 0, then it's mean less stable. So now it is like it is trying to, let's visualize it. So this axis is the instability metric, and this is the abstraction matrix. So in instability matrix, if you recall what it says in your component the number of dependency, like fan in, right, and then fan out. So fan out will make your class more less stable, and the more dependents that are depending on your component, it will increase the stability of the component. So instability says it's a metric which you count from 0 to 1, ranging from 0 to 1, and 1 means it is more unstable because it is fan out divided by fan in plus fan out. So 1 describing what? The 1 describing the instability factor, and 0 describing how much stable it are. So I will talk later how it's working. Now let's understand this beautiful diagram, graph picture. So I is being instability and A is abstraction. Okay. So why it is the divided into 3 region: zone of pain, zone of uselessness. So why it is saying, let's go one by one. Let's first understand the zone of uselessness. So 1 is like it's 1, coordinate is 1. So it is saying your component is highly unstable. That means it is depending highly unstable when your fan out is a maximum, like you are depending on more of the dependency, more of components, right? And the other abstraction is also 1. Abstraction I factor is 1. That means y axis is 1. That means your class is not abstract at all. It is concrete, right? So this area, they are saying zone of uselessness because it is like highly unstable component, and we don't want it. Like we cannot use it in our architecture or in any software because of its capricious changes, right? Now let's talk about zone of pain. So a0 y axis 0 means that your component is highly abstract, and I0 means it's a highly stable. So we don't want that too. Like we don't want our component to that much stable, right? Because now changing it will going to be difficult because it is too much abstract. So let me talk about some of the example also. So it is saying it cannot be extended because it is not abstract, and it is very difficult to change because of its stability. Thus we do normal expect the highly stable and concrete. So yeah, like I mentioned only, right? It is a concrete component. Like abstraction 0, I think I missed. Abstraction 0 means the class is concrete. On here it is like abstracted and it is changing. Okay, so it's again missed from my side. Let me re-go through vision and clarify it. So it is instability. Instability 1 is more unstable. Abstraction 0 means it is not abstracted, and 1 means is more abstracted. So this region, it is saying peak is saying that your component is very much stable. No, instability is 1. That means it is very much unstable, and it is depending on too much dependency, too much component. And abstraction is highly abstract, and it is highly abstract. So it is, that's why it is calling it useless, because we rarely encounter this kind of component, and this is totally useless. And like you are saying that you in a component you are making just like all the abstract class, and even though you're encapsulating abstract class, still you are dependent on too much dependency. So that doesn't make sense, right? And the other is zone of pain. So it is saying that it is highly stable component because instability is 0, and 0 abstraction means it is not abstract at all. So it is saying that your implementation is concrete. Concrete means you really implemented. There is nothing abstract here, and it is a stable component. And it is not to be the case. Why? Because like if you are not implementing the abstraction in your component, right, then you want it to be changed. If you understand previous points that we are like discussing previously, you should get this point. And so this line is called the what the main sequence. And if you, there are certain more things through which you can plot the component in this graph, right, during like by measuring its instability and abstract matter. And it is saying the more it is close to the main sequence line, the better it is. And like it's a very, I haven't encountered anyone to play with this matrix at all in my software career, engineering career, but it's there. So I believe it has been mostly used for research purpose, etc, etc. But in conclusion, it is saying that metrics is good way to represent result. But however, metric is not a god. It is merely measurement against arbitrary standard. These metrics are imperfect at best, but it is my hope that you will find them useful. So yeah, I see. Means it is someone still try to measure this architecture, right? Like component by this using this metric. It's a great good work, I would say, and maybe it is used in some research purpose. But here we are done with the component principle, and we will going to dive deep on your our most awaited chapters that is related to architecture. And I am going to changing some of the way I'm explaining the videos. Now I'm going to be more prepared like by using the list of keywords that I want to like discuss, and then I will show the diagrams. And that's, yeah, let's see how that goes.